Dana White just shared one of the craziest behind-the-scenes stories on Andrew Schultz's podcast. He talked about a physical confrontation he had with former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou during a meeting at the UFC offices. The drama kicked off because Francis was really upset about not getting a $50,000 bonus for Fight of the Night after what many considered a lackluster performance against Stipe in their first bout. According to Dana, things escalated quickly, and Francis actually put his hands on him during their chat. But that wasn't all. MMA reporter Anthony Evans chimed in with his own experiences from his time at UFC. He mentioned that Francis often showed up at the offices without warning, pacing around and hovering over employees' desks, which made everyone a bit uneasy. Some of this behavior stemmed from cultural differences and the fact that he was a huge guy speaking English as his third language. However, Evans noted that Francis crossed the line frequently, getting in the faces of designers and barking orders in a pretty aggressive manner. Now let's roll what Dana had to say about this.
Francis Ngannou is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He plays the whole, I don't understand the language, and he tries to come off like he's a fucking nice guy, you know what I mean? And people go, oh, it's the language barrier probably. No, there's no fucking language barrier with this guy. He's a bad guy. Stipe Miocic beats the fucking shit out of him. So, and he comes up to my office. I said, come on in, what's going on? And he was pissed off that he didn't get a $50,000 bonus in his last fight, that he didn't get the bonus of the night. And I said, well, Francis, you didn't get it because this, that. And he's in my office and he's arguing with me. The conversation's over, I'm starting to leave, and he grabs me by my shirt and like pushes me back in my office. And I said, dude, get your fucking hands off me.
Those were the words that came out of you when Francis Ngannou grabbed you by the shirt?
Yeah.
Those were the words that came out of you when Francis Ngannou grabbed you by the shirt?
Yeah.
Now, let's check out what Francis has to say about the whole Dana White situation. He finally opened up, and his side of the story is quite different from what's been reported. Francis claims that the real issue began before his first fight with Stipe, when the UFC was dragging its feet on his contract negotiations. That delay left him out of action for months, which meant he wasn't making any money. He says he reached a point where he was financially struggling and couldn't even afford his training camp. At that point, Francis called Dana White directly and asked for an advance on his fight purse to cover training costs. He insists that this phone call was the only real confrontation he had with Dana about the alleged incident in the UFC office. Francis pointed out that the real source of tension was the slow contract negotiations, not a dramatic showdown behind closed doors. He believes these delays put a strain on their relationship and caused frustration on both sides, painting a very different picture from the one that's been going around. Fans online seem to be split on this. Some doubt the alleged altercation ever happened, while others believe it did. Let's dive into what Francis had to say in more detail.
There was a lot of frustration over the years. Since my fight against Stipe, my first fight against Stipe, my relation with the UFC never been the same. From that moment, I was already put in some position out there. Even before the Stipe fight, when they announced that fight, I need to call to ask for advance of my purse to finance my training camp. I have no money, but I was there training and getting ready for almost a year. So I took some advance. So, and I don't care if I walk around, you guys say, oh, champ, oh, that's a UFC contender, whatever it is. Man, I just live based off what is in my base of my asset. I don't live beyond that. I came back, I won multiple fights, and they came with a new deal. This was after Junior Dos Santos back in June 2017. And then until my team was on the way to the negotiation, Dana said no new deal for Francis. He still have 3 fights on his contract. And to be honest, I was even happy because I wanted to knock that deal out.